restaurants and kitchens all around the world to nominate which one is the best place people can go to all around the world. And we were nominated this year for a particular category, which is the Champions of Change Award. And this is the first time in the history of the award system that this category was introduced. And this is also the first time an African country, a West African country, a Ghanaian kitchen has won this award in the entire world. So it is huge.
So prior to this award, did you what dishes did you serve to deserve the winning of this award?
I mean, like I rightly said, I'm the head chef of the Ghana Food Movement, and so most of our dishes and the things that we do there is towards sustainability, healthy dishes that project where we come from and who we are. And definitely, I am a proud Frafra boy from Zwarongo, and so most of the dishes and the menus in my kitchen that we run are things made from sorghum, which is millet or ki or ze, TZs, biribiri, I've done konkore, tubani, gable. So literally the dishes that won us these awards are northern Ghanaian dishes.
Right.
Yeah.
How does this award position your kitchen on the global scene?
First of all, it has introduced my kitchen to the world as that place where innovation is taking place, and not only innovation, but impactful innovation. Because we currently is running a project called the Ghana Plates.
Right.
And the Ghana Plates project is to, support the school feeding program system that is happening in Ghana. Okay. So we realize that the government is enrolling school feeding programs and is going on, and the government is contributing their quota to support school meals. But one of the things we realized was that there is a limit to what the government can do. And so based on how much the government is able to give, these schools, that is what they're able to provide to the students. So we checked in and we realized that it is great, but we need to support it by, suggesting, indigenous ingredients and stuff that they could inculcate into this school feeding program that could help, jollof on their menu. They have wachi on their menu. So I decided to, together with my team, when we're creating the menus, we suggested something we call sochi. And you know what sochi is?
No.
Sochi is replacing the rice with sorghum.
Oh, okay.
Replacing rice with ze. So then we use the sorghum instead to make the wachi, and then we did sorghum jollof. So these are ingredients that I have seen in northern Ghana that can change lives, that can impact our nutrition, and these are some of the things that we are suggesting to schools in the southern part of Ghana to supplement whatever they are doing in the school feeding program.
While you're making impact in the southern part of Ghana, one may wonder: is there an intention to have that trickle down home?
No, absolutely. One thing I've realized is that with our people, when you come and then you talk to people at home, you try to sensitize them. Sometimes because they've not seen it happen somewhere else, because they've not seen it, they've not seen you seeing, but it is that same thing that the world has recognized now. And so I think it's time for us to have these dialogues. It's time for us to have these conversations and see how best we can use whatever we have to foster development, foster nutrition in the northern part of Ghana. I am always ready. I've always been coming home for so many activities. I've been working with the Ghana Tourism Authority. I've been working with some event organizers and stuff back at home. But usually the cooperation and involvement is quite low, because when you come, the question is, who are you? Before they listen to you. But it's quite a pity that We have all these amazing things, but yet we wait till the world recognizes us before we recognize our own. And I think it's time for us to start rethinking things like this, and then work together for the development of the whole northern Ghana.
Chef, we are very grateful for speaking to us this morning, and
Thank you so much.
We are anticipating that when you come home, we'll get to sit in studio together.
Yes, thank you so much. So I would be going to Peru to receive the award on behalf of Ghana and on behalf of West Africa and on behalf of Africa as well. And I would need the support of everybody to and giving us support from wherever you are. And if you were not proud of being a northerner or coming from the northern part of Ghana, I think it's time for you to be proud, because our food has done so much on the world stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that is Chef Abiru, Abiru Wisdom, speaking to us there after winning, leading his Ghanaian kitchen to picking up a prestigious award. It is an award that he says has given his kitchen the exposure that it requires. It has given him the world, access to the world. Aside that, it has also exposed the northern dishes to the world.
Problem there, better call Jesus. I'm only big man, not the ball on me. I watch your face, I seen the hope and it dawned on me. Everything could have been lovely, but I'm just another guy. I'm just another guy, obsessed to my morals, concerned with my liberty. Options overflow, I'm not gonna lie, there's a change in my energy. Praying I never go down, if I step down toes, my apologies. Everything could have been lovely, but I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. But I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. But I'm just another guy, just another money I want. Give me day one, get your crypto, dollar city safer. Call me, let's talk, and I'll go see you later. Lucky champion, they no fit to bring them. Down with them now, I'm in the final boss. 1,000 bullets to my body on form. Samurai swings, what a situation. But when the money long, you know fit to take them with the party day long. Obsessed to my moral, concerned with my liberty. Options overflow, I'm not gonna lie, there's a change in my energy. Praying I never go down, if I step on toes, my apology. Everything would have been lovely, but I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. But I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't tell me to sacrifice it all. But I'm just another guy, just another guy.
Welcome back. Some 23 minutes after 8 a.m. The earlier on conversation we had was with Chef Abiru, making us proud, making the Upper East proud, making Zwarungu proud, making Ghana proud, not only in Ghana but across the shores of the country.
I never go down. If I step on toes, my apologies. Everything could have been lovely, but I'm just another guy, just another guy. If I could, you wouldn't.
Well, this morning is the Political Thursday, and we are seated here in studio with two communicators from political parties, the dominant political parties, the NPP and the NDC. I have Abonenga Joseph Aguyire. He is a communicator with the regional communication team, and he is from the Bongo constituency. We also have John Paul Azuma, who is a member of the NDC's Regional Communications Bureau. The two join us this morning to advance conversations on happenings within the country. First, we want to look at the issue around a wild allegation that has been leveled against the minority leader, Afenyo Markins, by the CEO of Gold Board, Samit Jainfi, alleging that he is an extortionist. He did some extortion during the previous administration. But then, aside that, we'll also be looking at conversations around the 24-hour economy markets. It's an issue that has been. Now we don't even know where it stands now. First, we asked for a policy document. We're told the policy document will be made available. Now, no policy document. And now the 24-hour economy markets, we understand, are not under the 24-hour secretariat, but are under the supervision of the district assembly. And this has raised a series of questions, and people are calling that why don't you just give us a policy document so that we would even understand the whole concept of this 24-hour economy system, rather than coming to tell us what you think it is. Let me begin this morning by saying good morning to you listening to us. Let me remind you, our phone lines will be open at the appropriate time. You could always send your comments while streaming on Facebook at facebook.com/A1 Radio, and we'll do well to read your comments out to the general public. And so let me say very good morning to my guest in studio. Good morning, John. Good morning, Joseph.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. You all came with the letter J.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
The J gang. Interested.
Yeah.
John, how are you doing?
Well, by His grace, I'm doing very well.
Great. And how is the NDC faring in the region?
I think that the NDC government, as we can all see, is doing so well. We have a stable economy. We have a stable exchange rate. We have inflation dropping to the barest minimum. These are indicators to suggest that indeed the NDC government is doing all it can to make life comfortable for the ordinary Ghanaian. Today you go to the markets and prices of goods and services are easily affordable. That is the mark of a good government. And so I can hit my chest and say that I'm proud of what the NDC government is doing. Hitherto, way back in 2022, between 2022 and 2024, we all saw the surge in prices of commodities, how unbearable life was, even for pensioners, people who had gone on retirement. Today, the narrative has shifted. And that, for me, is the real definition of governance. Governance is not about rhetorics. It's not about long talks. It's not about grammar. It is about making life meaningful for the ordinary people out there. And that is what the NDC can boast of.
Let me say a very good morning to Joseph, also sitting to, strangely, the two of them, one is to my left, one is to my right. Minority is to my left, majority is to my right.
That's
very interesting caveat here in the studio. Joseph, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing very great.
Right.
First and foremost, I'd like to say good morning to the hardworking and the virtuous people of Upper East. Good morning to the good people of Bongo. That's my community. That's where I'm coming from. And good morning, especially good morning to the cherished and esteemed listeners of A1 Radio.
Your party just came out from its regional contest. Does it mean that the party is poised for political engagement and its related activities in the region while you prepare yourself for your national reorganization?
Exactly. So just as you clearly pointed out, the party, we are still, in the process of restructuring and reorganization. And so far, so good. I think everything is, going on very smoothly. Looking at the, top bottom approach that, we delved on in, and the fact that a lot of people initially were having issues with that particular political strategy, but today everybody can attest to the fact that that is one of the best things that could ever happen in our political discourse as far as this country is concerned. And it's actually beginning to bear fruits and all of that. And our party, just as I rightly mentioned, we are poised and we are looking forward to forge on, put the government on its toes as a responsible opposition party. We are doing whatever it takes And I think just some few days ago, we've seen how the relentless fight that we are fighting just to expose this government from the numerous, malicious schemes and all of that they are putting on. And we are just on course. We are just on course. And the ultimate goal is to, deliver the good people of this country, and most especially the hardworking people of Upper East, from the hands of these nation workers that we have at hand, the incorrigible and incongruous NDC government that, as it stands today, they've not been able to, deliver on their promises aside or except the, macroeconomic stability that they are talking about. And I've said it times with a number that the finance minister, Dr. KCL Atoforsen, is going to go down as one of the worst finance ministers we've ever had. And on any single platform that I get, I've been able to, demonstrate this or defend this particular assertion. And the fact being that macroeconomic stability is a means to an end, and it's not an end itself. When it comes to economic management, macroeconomic stability, it's very important. Nobody undermines that. It's very, very important. But you should be able to advance from macroeconomic stability and be talking about employment. That's where you talk about infrastructure, you talk about your flagship policies as a government, and all of that. And Atoforsen and this incorrigible government has not been able to do that. Their only focus is on the fiscal, macroeconomic, indicators. And just as my brother was talking, we realized that he's just focused, and they didn't tell us the number of graduate nurses and teachers that have been able to be employed in the almost 2 years, and their flagship policies, none of them. You understand? So the fact is that
so you assume you assume that at the point where they begin to roll out their flagship, as you allude that their flagship programs haven't been rolled out, at the time they begin to implement them and increase recruitment, it will expose them?
No, you see, the whole thing is that if you want to do a better comparative analysis, you'd have to look at both governments in the first 2 years. So the NPP government, the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government in 2016 and 2017 was able to achieve macroeconomic stability and went further to introduce and roll or almost all its flagship policies. You can talk of the free senior high school and all of that in the first year. You understand? So we were able to achieve macroeconomic stability and went
you
further.
don't assume your strategy to be their strategy.
Yes,
they all have strategies.
And that is why we are saying that they are only interested in the optics. So when you say fiscal discipline and the fiscal, that's the mantra that they've always been on. Fiscal discipline does not mean, it just simply means that you should spend wisely, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't spend at all. And that is exactly what this government is doing, and the finance.
So are they spending wisely, or they are not
spending altogether?
Really?
And when it comes to economic management, in terms of theory, in terms of practice, it's very evident that government need to spend. You understand? And the fact that you are not spending, I think is something that is very, very concerning, and it is an issue, or it dents their competency as economic managers. And that is simply what we are saying. Atoforsen is not spending. He has refused to spend altogether. And fiscal discipline does not mean you shouldn't spend. It means spend, but spend what? Wisely.
Right. That's a very interesting way to say good morning to the people.
Exactly.
John.
Yes.
Well, the minority leader, Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markins, did his civic responsibility by leading the minority to ask questions regarding reports that sought to indicate that the Gold Board has lost close to 1.7 billion United States dollars by the BOG in 2025 under the Gold Pages program. This was just a mere question to ask what is really happening. Can you let us know what is going on?
Okay.
This eventually led to a response from the CEO of Gold Board, Sammy Gyamfi, who responded, but in his response, he rather took a very harsh, adopted or employed a very harsh word to describe the minority leader, which today has been a strong brawl between both political parties. Today, initially, the minority leader said he wasn't suing, but as we speak now, he has sued. Was the labeling of the minority leader as an extortionist necessary?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Please, your name.
Gerard.
Gerald. Yes, Gerald. Thank you very much. In fact, in my earlier submission, I couldn't extend fraternal greetings to our cherished listeners. So permit me to say good morning to all who are listening to A1 Radio this morning, and especially those listening to the show from the Nabdam constituency where I come from. Yes. So one thing that excites me about this whole controversy is the fact that we are talking about accountability. Everything boils down to accountability. And nobody has said anywhere that the minority, for that matter, do not have a say or do not have a stake when it comes to, pushing for accountability. That certainly is the fundamental right of the minority, to put the government on its toes. And so, for that matter, all other government officials who occupy public office. But to the extent that the minority leader, in calling for accountability, wades into a personal tone or wades into a personal stance, certainly cannot be taken for granted and cannot be accepted. That you are calling for accountability is right, is something we all embrace, but your call for accountability must be based on, the structures that we have. Did Afenyo Martins and the minority, for that matter, require a press conference to tell the world that there were losses at Gold Board? Certainly not.
They were not the first to break the news about losses at Gold Board. They extracted the details from an IMF document.
Good. And so, to that extent, I see some level of ingenuity on the part of the minority, to the extent that the minority is seeking to suggest to Ghanaians that perhaps they are the only literates, they are the only people who can read a document or a report by the IMF and interpret it, to suit their whims and caprices. For me, it's neither here nor there. We have all seen that report. Anybody at all can take that report and scrutinize it. And so where we have consistently asked the minority, where in that report, which page in that report did the IMF cite Gold Board for incurring losses? Which part of that report makes such a suggestion? This question has remained unanswered during this entire period. And so, you see, the Honorable Afenyo Martins is a man I revere so much. I respect so much because of, how eloquent he is. I just love him for that. But sometimes, let us be measured in our utterances. Calling for accountability of a public official should not amount to personalization. And I'm saying this because he made a statement that Sammy Gyamfi will face some bail terms when NPP eventually comes back to power. And I dare say, look, why will you wait into that conversation? If I were Sammy Gyamfi, certainly I will also flare up. And so when Sammy Gyamfi came out to put out the figures, we have all seen in that report that even as far back as 2023, is it domestic gold purchase program which was implemented by the NPP, had incurred losses. 2024, they incurred losses as well. Even 2022, they incurred losses as well. Who is talking about it? Fundamentally, there is no business entity that operates without, encountering losses. But even in this instance, nowhere did the IMF cite Gold Board for any losses. Now, let's come back to our own territory. If the minority has any case to make at all, we have the Auditor General that has gone to audit the books of Gold Board. Now, the question any ordinary Ghanaian may want to ask is, what is preventing the minority from trusting the report by the Auditor General? The Auditor General itself has come out to even indicate that Gold Board recorded a surplus. This doesn't mean anything for the minority. This doesn't mean anything for Afenyo-Markins and his cohorts. That a whole institution of our state.
So you are saying on authority that there's no recorded loss by the Gold Board?
There was no recorded loss by the Gold Board.
Okay.
And in fact, the report has made it very explicit that the losses were incurred by Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
So,
but not the Gold Board.
But not the Gold Board.
But what was the funds used for?
Which funds?
From the Bank of Ghana to the Gold Board. Was it not an advanced fund for them for the domestic gold purchasing program? As we speak,
Bank of Ghana no longer finances the activities of Gold Board.
We are talking of the 2025.
Well, we're talking about the 2025
period
report
is 2025
under review.
Yes.
Is that what at the time? If you are saying that Bank of Ghana no longer finances them, it means that they used to finance them.
Yes.
So if I give you money to do something and you run at a loss, have I lost or you have lost?
But that is not what the IMF report is saying.
Okay.
The IMF report has not mentioned anywhere that Gold Board was responsible for those losses. And so, yes, let us call for accountability.
Right.
But in calling for accountability, let us be honest enough to tell the good people of Ghana, these are the records. And when Sammy Gyamfi, in Accounting to the People series, delivered his statement, it was clear. Very, very clear.
But do you think that the choice of word to describe the minority was necessary? You are a public official, and you hold a public office.
Sure.
And you should be open to criticisms. You should be receptive.
Certainly.
Do you, in all honesty, devoid of political alienation or colorization, was it appropriate to describe the minority as an extortionist?
Okay. So you see, what we come out on air to see, when you see us either on television set or behind the mics in the studio, the things that happen behind the scenes cannot be seen by all. As politicians, a lot of stuff happen behind the scenes that sometimes when we sit behind the mic, we would not be able to see them. But to the point that the CEO of Gold Board would describe, Afenyo-Markins as an extortionist. In all honesty, the onus now lies in the hands of, Afenyo-Markins to clear his name.
Right.
All right. And we have said that CEO Sammy Gyamfi is ever prepared to defend and to substantiate why he labeled him as an extortionist. We live in a country of laws.
Right.
And so the brouhaha at the moment will only be settled at the law courts. This morning, I have cited a document,
Afenyo-Markins
filed a suit. Look, when I watched him on a sister program some 2 nights ago, and I dare say the honorable minority leader Afenyo-Markins is really not living up to task.
Okay.
In fact, I dare say he is not even fit for purpose. He has denigrated the highest office of the office of minority leader. And the NPP, yesterday, I understand the NPP leadership in parliament summoned him. All right?
He denies it was a summon. He says it's a normal as parliament reconvenes. It is normal for him as a minority leader.
What else do you expect him to
meet
say?
them and they
certainly this is what he will say. But if he was wise enough, if he was indeed wise enough as leader of the caucus, he would have been the first person to even invite the minority MPs to a meeting.
Are you saying
But that's
he didn't?
exactly what happened.
That is not what happened. He
That's
was summoned.
exactly what
He
happened.
was
No,
summoned.
no,
Please, allow me to
Is
finish.
it-
When is your turn?
Jo-
Please,
Yes,
please.
yes, yes.
Joseph,
when is your turn?
just jot it down.
Just jot it down. Jot it down, I beg you. So
Is it information you have strongly verified
This-
that the minority leader was summoned,
he was someone. That's
but
what,
he wasn't? Is it what you read?
that is what I read.
You read,
That's what
but
I
it's
read.
not information available.
It is what I read.
Authentic
that he
information.
was summoned by his colleague minority MPs.
Right.
And I believe that it is upon this summon that has eventually culminated. In fact, it's like he has been coerced to finally, go to
So
the courts.
in the event where, to you as a member of the NDC and as a strong admirer of Sammy Gyamfi, because I can deduce that from the way you describe him.
Sure.
In the event where it gets to the point where he comes out to retract or to render an apology, where does that leave you?
Yes, that's a very good question from you. You see, in governance or in our democratic dispensation, these are things that ought to teach us lessons for me. Okay. So what is happening now may not be the last time we hear of things like this. And Afenyo Markins himself on the sister program I watched admitted that, look, every political party has got a strategy. When you are in opposition, you have a strategy. When you are in government, you have a strategy. So even admitting to this in itself suggests that somehow Afenyo Markins could be complicit. It could be complicit in some way. But it is early days yet. As I always say, the story is developing. Now there's a writ summoning, what's his name? CEO Sammy Gyamfi as the first defendant, and then there's the sister's radio station or TV station that held that program. Let's wait and see.
Right.
Let's wait
Let me
and
go to Joseph. Joseph,
Yeah.
initially he didn't want to file a suit. He said, like Jesus, he would just keep quiet and allow the tides flow. But now I don't think it's like Jesus anymore. He has found reason through maybe counsel to try to clear his name, and he categorically states that he refuses all allegations leveled against him, and then he is seeking a legal remedy to this. And he says, "I'll submit myself to any investigation to clear my name." Initially, he didn't want to. Now he wants to. Does it impress you that your minority leader has taken the decision to now go to court to clear his name? And were you worried initially when he said, "I'll let this slide"?
So thank you very much. You see, first and foremost, before we even delve into the nitty-gritties of the pertinent issues at hand, I think it's very important for me to state that the honorable minority leader, Afenyo Markins, is an established business, mogul in this country, and I think that is evident for everybody to see. And he's also, a well-accomplished, public figure, having served, on 4 terms for, his constituency. That's the people of Ifutu. And for that matter, he's also been, being the majority leader before, and now the minority leader. So when it comes to, the caliber of person that's the honorable minority leader is, I think that is not in dispute or whatsoever. But I think it is very, very important for us to situate this particular conversation in its right perspective and dimension. As looking at the caliber of person that Afenyo Markins is, you wouldn't want, him to be engaging himself in hasty conclusions and all of that. So if there is an issue, especially looking at the sensitive issue at hand, where there has been some losses, and this government is actually embarking on a face-saving agenda just to water down and to sway public attention from such issues. As a minority leader, a very well accomplished politician who has a lot of experience under his belly, he wouldn't want the issue to just die like that by playing by the books or the ploys of the NDC. So that is exactly what he said earlier on, and that was the reason that informed his decision not to actually reply or respond in a hasty manner. So just as things are unfolding in our very eyes, now he has taken the issues or the matter to court and subsequently filed the writ, and I think that is the best thing to do, and that is a very calculated response or respond to this whole thing. But you see, just as I already indicated, it is very important for us to understand the fact that this particular government, in light of the heavy losses, the staggering losses, the hefty losses that has been incurred, $1.7 billion US, which is equivalent to 22 billion Ghana cedis. To put this particular figure into perspective, this particular amount of money that we've lost, and there is no debate about the loss. The only contention here is that whether Gold Board, is responsible for the losses or the Bank of Ghana. That is the contention. But there's no dispute whatsoever about the fact that Ghana has lost in excess of 22 billion Ghana cedis, which in context is, bigger and larger than, the budgetary allocations for 5 MDAs combined. This is very huge. And in fact, this is amount of money that, per our calculations, is enough to employ in excess of 30,000 nurses, give them employment and pay them for the next 10 good years. This is an amount of money that can eradicate all the more than 5,000 schools under trees in this country. This is an amount of money that can provide safe and portable drinking water for communities without sin. So in light of this, the government actually hopped on a revisionist, an expedition just to rewrite the facts as far as this particular losses is concerned. My big brother spoke about, the fact that, this particular domestic gold purchasing program incurred some losses in the past during the NPP tenure and all of that. And I'm very happy that he even brought this conversation. You see, looking at my background, this particular issue is an issue that I have invested a lot in, especially my time to, get myself acquainted and abreast with the real issues as far as this particular, the domestic gold purchasing program is concerned. You see, whereas my brother was talking about the losses in the past, ask him how much in total that the NPP, government incurred. In 3 years combined, the NPP government incurred 7 billion Ghana cedis losses as far as the domestic gold purchasing program is concerned. And what didn't happen in this country? We saw Sammy Gyamfi, moving on from one radio station to the other, and he labeled and described the previous administration and the managers of, BOG and that of PMMC, and even Dr. His Excellency, the former Vice President, the erudite and visionary economist, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, as incompetent. And he said it was gross mismanagement. You understand? That's 7 billion Ghana cedis in 3 good years. You understand? But he was going right up. So today, just under a single year, they've done in excess of 22 billion Ghana cedis. And you say what? We should be singing praises, and we should call them heroes. I mean,
But
what kind of logic is this?
But if admittedly, we don't know whether the laws is between Bank
No,
of
I'm
Ghana
talking
and
of
Gold
whether
Board.
it's very important.
Why
You see,
then
I think
does the minority leader go so hard on Gold Board?
It is very important. This is where the issues is going to get much interesting. It's very important for us to understand that this particular loss is whether BOG or Gold Board, it is Ghana's loss. And it is very important for us to get that.
That's fine.
Right from the outset.
But do you think the minority leader was
exactly?
was,
I'm coming
was
to explain
apt
that
to
you.
just
The minority leader
target
the minority
Sammy
leader didn't
and-
target Sammy Gyamfi.
Okay.
He why would anybody should ask themselves this? I mean, simple question. Why didn't the minority leader made mention of any other person, maybe Basin Tali or any other NDC figure, but rather Sammy Gyamfi? The reason why he mentioned the name of Sammy Gyamfi in this whole brouhaha has to do with the fact that if you read the DGPP policy framework, we have the Bank of Ghana, serving as the financier. So definitely it is the ultimate risk bearer in this context. And we have the Gold Board as an execution agency. You understand? And if you read Act 1140, which is the Gold Board Act, it actually authorizes, Gold Board to engage in a lot of services as far as this, particular policy is concerned. And what are the services? Gold Board was responsible for purchasing, the acquisition, or the sourcing of the ASM, the artisanal and small-scale mining gold from the miners. You understand? Or through its aggregators. You understand? And now, this is where it gets very, very interesting. Now, you have Gold Board, Act 1140, gives Gold Board the permission and the authority to determine the prices that which it buys the gold from its aggregators and from the small-scale miners. And that is exactly why we are saying that. Now, the losses is sitting on the books of BOG. And I've said this times with a number, even the time that the IMF came to talk about the $214 million US loss. And I've always made it very clear that the losses is sitting on the books of BOG, and that is what, for accounting reasons, it's accounting treatment, because so far as Bank of Ghana or BOG is providing the fund, the revolving fund, definitely when there are losses, it's definitely going to sit on their books. But that does not extricate, or that does not absolve or exonerate Gold Board from taking responsibility. It's very important for us to pay critical attention to the nuances. Look at the issues pay critical attention to the tiny details here. So now, Gold Board is partly responsible for the losses, even though the losses is sitting in the books of BOG. And that is very, very important for us to see. And that is exactly the argument that we've been advancing all this while. Assuming you are a father, you give your son an amount of money to provide a service for you, or in a business entity and all of that. And you, the father, it's just a financier, a sole financier. And the business happens to, there happens to be some losses and all of that. Are you going to say, because is the son going to say because the father, the losses is sitting in the books of the father? Definitely, most certainly, the losses is going to affect the father and not the son. Is the son going to say because, he's not affected by the losses, for that reason, he is not responsible, or he's not part of, partly responsible for the losses?
Right.
So this is exactly the issues at hand. If Gold Board was not an execution agency, or was not a player as far as the DGPP is concerned, then the argument that they are advancing or projecting could hold, because he just made mention of his name. But in this case, we are very much aware that Gold Board is an execution agency of the DGPP, which brought about these heavy losses and staggering losses. And now, in order to save their faces from this humiliation, from this, disgrace, and they just deploy a machination just to sway public attention from the losses. And that is exactly the issues that is exactly what culminated or brought about this accusations and all of that. And you see, there are a lot of points or assertions that my big brother made, and I think it's very important that I address them. He spoke about the fact that he spoke about the fact that the onus relies on Afenyo Markin to clear his name. And I said, where from this logic? Sammy Gyamfi is, undisputedly a public figure and, a statesman. And we are all very much aware of that. So as a statesman, if there is a clear evidence that someone, attempted to extort you, what do you do? What do you do? This is just a simple question. What do you do? The best thing to do is to go to the police station or to go and seek, legal, address. That's the best way to do. But you don't, come and sit on national television and, casting aspersions and innuendos and everything and expect that the accuser should rather, come and clear his name.
Right. Joseph, let me just hold you there. We'll be back quickly and just to have this conversation continued. All right.
30 years ago, MTN arrived in Ghana and everything changed. Now, to celebrate 30 years, we are giving back big time. The MTN at 30 promo is here. 9 Toyota Land Cruiser Prados to be won. Over 10 million Ghana cedis in rewards, plus so much more. Connect to your everyday hustle on MTN. Make video calls. Browse the internet for business with family and friends. Connect your home to MTN Fiber. Make that money move on Momo and stay ahead because every move counts. Ghana, let's celebrate 30 years of MTN with the MTN at 30 promo. Use more MTN services, build more points, and win big. Dial *530# or visit the My MTN app for more.
Today's class is going to be an exciting one. Now, who can share an unforgettable moment in their life? Okay, Asempa.
I'd like to talk about my first time. It was her natural look, complemented by her favorite green silky apparel that caught my attention. I have to say, she automatically possessed me with her smile, which exposed her beautiful white teeth. That's not all. Her enduring signature perfume could be smelled from afar. Madam, why do you look so
Sweet aroma, great taste. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. We apologize for that quick break. So before we went on the break, Joseph was on the floor. Just do this in 2 minutes for me. Let me bring in so,
John. I'm just going to wrap it up.
Right.
So just as I was saying, my brother saying that the onus relies on Afenyo Markin to clear his name. I think it doesn't. That is not the standard.
But he's now doing it. He's now going
that
to
is
clear
from
his name.
Afenyo Markin's perspective.
Okay.
But just as I did mention rightly, as a public figure, as a prominent figure, as a statesman, if there is evidence that someone attempted to, extort you, what do you do? What is the first line of action? What is the first line of action? You go to the police station or you go to, seek legal address. That is the first thing to do. So for anyone to, come to come and sit on national television just to, make these disparaging, comments and try to pin it down on a well-accomplished and established figure like Afenyo Markin, it tells you, the points that have been advancing or have been trying to project here, that this is just a ploy to sway public attention from the issues. He also spoke about, the fact that Afenyo Markin was talking about, onerous, bill terms and all of that. As if the NDC, we didn't hear anything of such from them. We were in this country when, Malik Basintali, who was the deputy, national communications officer for the NDC, and what didn't he say on national television? He accused Chinia, and he said it point blank, categorically, that when power changes hands, Chinia is going to jail, is going to be jailed, and he himself is going to, even though since they came into power, he's not been able to substantiate all of that, and that is even a dent on his own reputation and all of that. But these are things that has been said by the NDC in the past, and there are evidence of that. And we also did mention of the fact that the IMF never said Goldboard was responsible for the losses and all of that. And I'm like, did he really say that? You see, the proper context perspective that I've been saying all this while is about the fact that there is two different things altogether to say whether Gold Board as an entity reported or recorded losses, and to also say that whether Gold Board is partly or is responsible for the losses that is, sitting on the books of BOG.
Right.
And that is the level of, that is where I believe that it's very important that we project and elevate the conversation beyond this, simplistic, how we look at the whole issue.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So Gold Board is responsible for the losses, even though the losses are not sitting in their books and it's sitting on BOG books. And the IMF, explicitly and categorically stated that if you look at the losses, the channels through which the losses came about has to do with what the assaying fees, who is doing the assaying, has to do with service charges and all of that. And the trading losses that arise as a result of what the difference or the disparities or discrepancies between the Forex Bureau rate and that of what the Bank of Ghana reference rate.
Thank
and
you very
Gold
much.
Board set the prices and gave premium, to miners
bring in
where they
Joseph
source
here.
this in the gold.
Right. Let me bring in John. John.
Yeah. Gerald.
In all this conversation, now the OSP is interested. The OSP wants to contact. Let me use for a forensic to see if it's a worthy issue for its investigation. Should the OSP even bother itself over, someone says, two elephants fighting?
Okay, so thank you very much. Before I come to that issue, let me just make a few rebuttals. You see, my brother is just contradictory. He has contradicted himself on a number of occasions in his submissions.
Right.
How do you speak from both sides of your mouth? You are sitting here and telling the people listening to us that the losses are sitting on the books of Bank of Ghana, for which reason Gold Board should be held responsible or should be liable. Where is this coming
So
from?
it's like me going to take a loan from Joseph to give to you.
That's right.
Or you taking money from me to go and run your business. So if there are losses incurred, definitely the source of funds is from me.
The
So
responsibility.
I am going to write in my books that I have lost some
Exactly.
money. But who
is
made
responsible?
the money? Who was responsible for the money lost? Was it
That's
me
exactly the
or
issue.
the borrower?
So the question anybody would perhaps want to ask is,
Yes.
what then happens to the the Auditor General? Earlier, we heard from our colleagues that Gold Board did not present all the books to the Auditor General. Some books were perhaps kept away from the Auditor General, for which reason the Auditor General could not cite any losses. Today, they have shifted from that conversation.
No.
Really?
Nah,
They have shifted from
nobody
that
even made that conversation. in the
You
first
see,
place.
respectfully,
Allow
I think
him
that
to speak,
if we do
please.
this, it's not
Please,
healthy.
please make your point.
When you were speaking, I
Exactly.
could have done
Go
the same
ahead.
thing. But,
Go ahead. I'm very sorry. Go
uh-huh.
ahead.
Now, so the listening public are the best judges. But the issue about, Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markins being described as an extortionist. Look, I have said on this show that Afenyo-Markins is complicit. Is complicit in the act. And I dare say, this morning, as I have read the suit, he is even asking for some reliefs from that rate. Let's see how it plays out. Okay? But one thing is certain, and that is the benefits that Gold Board has, yielded for this country cannot be taken away. Our friends on the other side do not seem to appreciate what Gold Board has,
So while we
has
celebrate the
achieved.
benefits, should we also turn a
Of
blind
course,
eye
we would not.
when there
You
are worrying questions or concerns?
We would certainly not.
Right.
But not when they are not facts. When they are not facts,
Okay.
let us say it as it is. And so this is where we are. Today, the legal tussle has begun, and it will soon pan out. When we started this conversation, we said, relax. The CEO of Gold Board was coming to meet Accounting to the People series. He will spell out all the issues, which indeed he did. Today we are here. Alexander Feyo-Markins should be magnanimous enough to, in describing Sammy Gyamfi as a gentleman who will face onerous bail conditions, should be honest enough to tell the good people of Ghana that when, as of 2024, gold exported from Ghana to, the overseas was about 63.6 tons. That was in 2024. As at 2025, Gold Board came in and had exported about 103 tons, giving you a difference of about 39.4 tons.
Okay.
All right. These 39.4 tons of gold could have been smuggled out of the country. These are germane interventions that the NDC government, in its vision, could envisage and has implemented. Today, we are all raking in the benefits. Is it not refreshing that a government comes to power and for over 1 year did not go to the international market to borrow a dime? Yet all government workers were paid, and infrastructure, the big push programs are going on. All this mean nothing to our brothers on the other side. And that is why in the beginning of my submission, I did mention that, look, governance is not about, shouting on the rooftops. Yes, this is the same noise they made in the run-up to the 2024 elections, for which reason the good people of this country booted them out with such a humiliating defeat. Today, you see, we do normally say, if you live in a glass house, you don't throw stones. Feyo-Markins himself, is he clean? When he was board chairman for ECG, and they will do what they can do to bring him down.
Right.
But you know what Sammy Gyamfi is? And they will do what they can do to bring him down.
Right.
But you know what? Sammy Gyamfi focused.
Right.
And he has his facts. And I trust in him.
Right.
That in this legal tussle, you will see the results very soon. Now, let me come to the issue of the OSP. The OSP waiting, because you asked that question.
Okay.
Yes. So, yes, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, certainly we all know, has a mandate when it comes to, issues regarding extortions. Extortion is a crime in our laws. And so the OSP must have an interest. And I really do believe that the OSP has jurisdiction. The OSP has the mandate to, investigate this matter. So I am aware of some 2 gentlemen who have presented petitions, and then I think 2 others who have together jointly submitted a petition to the OSP. The OSP in time past has been bastardized for so many reasons. In fact, at a point, the OSP was described as a white elephant. Look, we need our institutions to work. The very mandate for which the OSP was established, as we speak, nobody can hit his or her chest and say that all the monies we have invested in the Office of the Special Prosecutor has yielded any good or benefit to the nation. And that is not what we want. We do not want just institutions for institution's sake, for people to be there and we are using the taxpayers' money to pay their allowances and what have you, yet we don't get anything from them. So this matter that has come, in fact, it is not only the OSP that has been petitioned. I'm sure other anti-corruption agencies have also been copied and petitioned to look into the matter. And I do pray that the OSP will do a just job. He will do a diligent job to ensuring that, whoever is guilty is found guilty.
Right.
And sanctioned accordingly to serve as a deterrent for the rest of us.
Right.
Yeah.
The same question goes to you, Joseph. Should it be a matter that the OSP should even be concerned about?
Oh, yes. Definitely. It's an issue that the OSP should be very concerned about. But I think it's very important. I'll come back to that. It's very important that I address some few, issues or statements that my big brother, just made. You see, my big brother just, said something very profound here. And to be very honest, as a very, young communicator that, actually looks up to him. I find this very, very disappointing. And I don't know if something of this sort is being done to him. Maybe anytime in the future, he will be very happy about. You just sat here and categorically stated that Afenyomakin is complicit of the extortions. And you see, you've not been able to deduce or give any evidence of such, or the reasons corroborating the various assertion or that position that you made. And I think it is something that is very, very important. Just, as the saying goes, you don't know the future. And it's very important that we should be, exercising some restraint, especially when it comes to issues of this sort. Because you cannot say explicitly that Afenyomakin is complicit. Whatever that happened between Sammy Gyamfi, lawyer Sammy Gyamfi and Afenyomakin, you were not there. You understand? So for you to sit here and say that categorically that Afenyomakin is complicit, and you made it, a very categorical statement without adducing any evidence to corroborate same, I think it is very problematic. If he can furnish us with the evidence, real-time evidence that he has at hand, currently as we are seated, wherever Afenyomakin, embarked on an agenda or has tried to extort money from Sammy Gyamfi, he should provide us or furnish that with us right now. This is my time. I'm very glad to give this to give him the time and the opportunity to do that for us.
Until proven guilty by the court of law, John. You
so
don't
you
make
should tell us, just tell us the evidence that you are having. Real time.
Until proven by law.
Yes, you have asked a question.
Until proven by law.
Respond. Yes, of course, I do agree.
Yes.
Until proven by a competent court of jurisdiction. Fantastic.
You don't make categorical statements.
You see, let us be.
So,
you see, the point is that.
So you see,
I'm coming.
Mr.
Please allow me.
You let me continue. No, you don't have the
question.
And
I want
it's my
right.
time. You don't have how many. You just want so
It's
you
fine.
be wasting my time.
I'm not
This is
wasting
my
your
time, and I've given
Listen,
it to you.
did
And
you
you are delaying. How many minutes now? You've not been able to
just-
Listen to me now.
Yes.
Did you hear Afenyomakin say that Jesus Christ was? I mean,
no, but
Don't let us get into peripherals. Don't let us wade into peripherals. The real issue, the cracks, is that provide us with the evidence.
All right,
We've not been able to do so.
All right,
So just as I rightly said, I think it is very important that once we get important platforms like A1 Radio, I mean, you are one of the renowned radio stations in this particular region. You go far and beyond. It's very important that we stick to the pertinent issues, the real issues, and try as much as possible to devoid or, turn away from, engaging in peripherals, issues that are not actually, relevant to the real issues at hand. You see, when it comes to this particular issue, I think it is very important that we situate the conversation in the right perspective and dimension. He was talking about the Auditor General's report on the books of, Gold Board and all of that. And I've said this on this platform. Right from the word go, we have always maintained that Gold Board can, post surplus, because whatever services that Gold Board was rendering, as far as this particular policy is concerned, and I've already told you that if you look at the DGPP policy framework, Gold Board was an execution agency. You understand? And whatever, services that Gold Board rendered, as far as the policy is concerned, it was paid for it. So definitely, Gold Board is deemed to, record surpluses, and that is not, a bone of contention. So if the Auditor General comes to tell us that, Gold Board has, Gold Board audited financial statement is out there for everybody to see, and I've said this stands with that number. That is not where the argument is. The crux or the central thesis of the argument, however, is in the fact that Gold Board is partly responsible for the losses, even though the losses are sitting in the books of BOG. So for accounting purposes, and accounting treatment purposes, the losses is expected to be on the books of BOG. But when it comes to responsibility, nobody can say that Gold Board is not partly responsible for the losses. And that is the argument, you see. So it is not, necessary for us to be wading into peripherals, whereas the substantive or the crux of the real issues, is there. And now, he was talking about, the the net benefit factor as far as the
Just
DGPP
end
is
there for
concerned.
me.
Yes, I'm going to be very snappy about it. You see, this DGPP, everybody knows that DGPP was, birthed by the MPP government, introduced by the MPP government. And when you look at the benefits, I'm talking of the social benefits that that particular program had on our economy. You realize that somewhere in 2022, during the economic and financial crisis, our inflation rate was around 54%. And it even got to a time before we even went to IMF, we were having gross forex reserves not more than 2 months of import cover. So now, fast forward, DGPP was introduced. If you look at 2024, when we were leaving office and we handed power over to them, what was the inflation rate? From 54%, it slashed to 23%. I'm talking of end year inflation for the year 2024. So if you look at it, that means that is an annual average of 15%.
But you got us to the 50.
Pardon?
So it was 50.
That was 22. We are looking, the context here is
okay.
DGPP and
Right.
its net benefit.
Right.
And even the reason why it got to 52%, we are all rightly aware of the exogenous, shocks that came. Two of them major. COVID-19 and that of the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war, even the impact, the adverse impact that it had on the global supply, of energy. The disruptions that, then the adverse effects that it had on the prices of food, international market. The current Iran and America war is yet to even get there, because at a certain point the prices were above $120 to almost $130.
Right.
But today it is not even up to there. But what is the prices of fuel today?
Right.
When we were leaving office, what was the X1 prices of fuel, a liter of fuel, and today compare it today. So
Right.
if this particular war has had negative
Thank you,
impact
Joseph.
on the economy, definitely. How about two of them?
Right. Joseph, thank you very much. If you're just joining us, this is a conversation with the two political actors. We're looking at a heated conversation in Parliament, not in Parliament and all over, around the Gold Board CEO and Alexander Afenyo-Markens, Honorable, who is the minority leader. It has to do with the CEO of Gold Board describing him as an extortionist, following this minority's presser demanding accountability on some 22 billion Ghana cedis loss accrued from the DDEP. But we want to move away from gold and its related issues to one of the key policies on the NDC's manifesto, which was the 24-hour economy. Excitedly, communicators made us to understand that the 24-hour market, which even has a name of the policy, was being spearheaded by the 24-hour Secretariat. But then the Revered Dr. Guzitano comes out and then he says, the 24-hour economy market is not under the Secretariat of the 24-hour economy Secretariat. It is under the district. It is a responsibility of the district assemblies, metropolitan district assemblies. John, help us understand this, because for me, I've been trying to understand what really it is when someone says that no, stand. What really it is. When someone says that, no, this thing is not my responsibility, but yet you bear the same name. And the initial communication was that this is part of the policy. Is it that now we are getting clarity to it? And can there be a policy document where we can all agree to, so that we avoid some of these conversations?
Okay. Right. Thank you, Gerald. So the 24-hour economy markets is a novel policy, a novel project. I trust that if you look at many of the problems you have encountered from old and existing markets, some of the markets, we do normally record fire outbreaks and what have you. We have also taken note of concerns raised by some market women and traders to the point that, their stores are being pulled down, for the construction of the 24-hour economy markets. I mean, there's no denying the fact that if you look at the architecture of the impact it will make to our economy, there's no denying that fact, will be very tremendous. So Gusitano, who is the man in charge of the 24-hour economy, has come out clearly to make the statement that the construction of the 24-hour economy markets are under the MMDAs. You talk about a policy document. I do not have enough details on the policy document. I want to believe that, that is an issue of contention of a policy document. As to whether there's a policy document or not, I do not have those details.
Right.
But what I can say is that I have been to a number of markets, and sometimes when you enter those markets, if you look at the structure of the market, it points to one thing: the alarming rate at which many stores can be devastated by fire outbreak, And so the concept of the 24-hour economy markets is one that we all must embrace. I have looked at the drawings. It looks so beautiful. And we do not want a situation where we are like our brothers on the other side who profess much of theories than of reality. We are going to be very practical. I have seen, in fact, let me just use my own constituency. One of the markets in my constituency, that is Belungu Market. We have seen market women crying and saying that their stores have been pulled down. And look, there's always a risk to take if indeed we want to achieve something good for this country.
All right.
And I trust that these 24-hour economy markets, as we have been told, are under the direct supervision of the MMDAs. That, for me, is welcoming news. Welcoming because the markets operate under the MMDAs. Is that not correct? The what do you call it? The market tools and bills they collect, all those monies, they go to where? They go to the MMDAs. Is that not it? The welfare of the markets and everything associated with the markets are under the direct supervision of the MMDAs. So for Mr. Gusitano to come out with this statement is one we should all embrace. To break bureaucracy. If it was going to be under the supervision of the Secretariat, you can imagine the bureaucratic nature that this project will go through and will end up with the like the NPP constructed the National Cathedral, and it is now the biggest dam in Africa. So I trust and believe that with this, in fact, I have seen cold stores, drug stores or pharmacies, and what have you. One thing that gladdens my heart is that if you look at the structure of the 24-hour economy markets, our farmers will no longer have to struggle for markets to sell their produce, all right?
But
especially when it comes...
Did they used to struggle?
Oh,
was that the case?
One problem many farmers face in our part of the world is what? Markets. Preservation, storage, all right? So people grow tomatoes, and the next thing is that the tomatoes goes bad. It goes bad because of lack of storage. So if you have a market system that has enough storage capacity, we can imagine the benefits that these farmers will derive from such a program.
So does this give clarity? Because I've never heard you speak up but did you assume initially that the 24-hour economy markets were the responsibility of the 24-hour secretariat. And for you, what would have pushed the special advisor on the 24-hour economy policy to come out and speak in this manner?
Well, you see, I think that his statement, for me, should not spark any controversy. It shouldn't spark any controversy because, as I indicated earlier in my submission, the market system, as we all know it in our country, are under the direct supervision of the MMDAs. And so to that extent, I mean, what would have even sparked a controversy the more is to have heard him say that maybe it is under the direct supervision of the secretariat, for which we all know that if it was going to be supervised by the secretariat, we all know the bureaucratic nature, and it could have led to so many delays. So to say that it is not under his direct supervision but under the MMDAs, for me, is welcoming, and it's one that we can place a check on the MMDAs. I am aware of money sent to the MMD and a certain percentage asked for projects, in the district. And I believe the 24-hour economy market is one of them. And so here we have engineers and other staff at the assemblies who are responsible for, infrastructural developments. And so to that extent, I trust that this will rather, fast track the process.
Right.
It will make sure that it's right under their doorsteps. They're able to monitor the progress of work and report as and when necessary. Right. But that doesn't entirely dismiss the fact that it all adds up to the 24-hour economy policy.
And the final one before I let you go. As a government communicator, as a party in parts communicator, would you call for, if there is, the swift release of the 24-hour economy policy document, to help you in communication and to help the general public?
Of course, why not? I mean, every policy must have something to stand on, some standards, some guidelines, and all of that. So yes, I respect that call, and I do request that if the 24-hour economy policy document can be made available for all of us to scrutinize and to also guide us. So yes, I cannot sit here and dismiss that fact.
Right.
Yes.
Let me bring in Joseph to this conversation. Joseph, it was a loud call. It was even a song about the 24-hour economy. A lot of promises made. Then we have the market spring up. Then the assumption was that, well, let's see how it goes. Then a communication comes through from none other than the man himself who advises the president on the 24-hour economy policy, saying that this is not under the secretariat. It is not our responsibility. This statement, how do you think the ordinary voter or citizen should take it?
Thank you very much. I think if you look at the statement that Honorable Mr. Gusitano made with regards to that, I think it does not inspire confidence and it does not inspire trust, because you see, this actually goes further to expose this particular government, about the genuine, the genuine, conviction about this particular 24-hour economy that they've been, touting themselves and that was their campaign message, prior to the 2024 elections. And that is actually, by extension, directly and indirectly won them power, because before the 2024 elections, they went around the country, speaking and projecting the call that particular policy is for the youth and it's going to provide a certain, 3 shifts for and they even went ahead to make mention of certain, state agencies and departments that were going to run on 3 shifts, and for that matter, the teeming unemployed youth were going to get access to employment and all of that, and it was based on this, promises that most of the teeming unemployed youths voted for this government, only to come back into office. You will remember and recall that even before then, anytime that reasonable and discerning Ghanaians ask questions, getting to, wanting to know the details about that policy and how they were going to be able to, execute and implement it. They were having some contradictory, responses, and it was all because this particular 24-hour policy, just as we in the minority or we in the MPP pointed out to, right from the word go, that these people, they do not have a clear policy line, especially when it comes to this particular, 24-hour economy. And we have been saying this, and it was very evident right from or through the numerous explanations and all of that. And you see, when you see a policy that is not well thought through, a policy that is only a populist policy, you should be able to tell. And how you are going to be able to tell is to look exactly whether there will be able to tell. And how you are going to be able to tell is to look exactly whether there is informed decision, there is an informed, extensive framework that clearly spells out, how the project is going to be implemented. So if you are not able to see any of these signs, it's a clear indication that that particular policy is a hoax, that particular policy is a sham, that particular policy is not going to, it's not intended for the incentives that it proclaims, but it is rather for political expediency, just to win political power and all of that. And that is exactly what is unfolding in our very eyes right now. You get it? Because in how do you, as a government, a responsible government that is set out to deliver and implement your flagship policy, and up till now, you still do not have a policy document that is going to, what is going to inform all the relevant stakeholders, and most especially those who employed you, which is, the good people of this country, as far as this particular policy is concerned. And I've always maintained that the 24-hour economy market is just a hoax, and it was just, a sham, just to a facade, just to win political power, and they didn't really mean it, and it was not well thought through. We were in this country, I think some months back, when they went to Parliament to pass the bill. And if you look into the bill didn't, specify in any way, anywhere, that it was going to, DVLA was going to, operate on 3 shifts, just as they did campaign. They didn't specify it anywhere that, they were going to employ or recruit additional people, from the other, from the other government, state agencies and departments, just as they rightly did mention. They didn't specify anywhere that they were going to introduce the time of use meters, which was supposed to cut the cost of, MSMEs, which is micro, small, and medium scale enterprises, the welders over there. But in turn, when they even came to government, we've rather seen the, tariff increase in utility, bills and all of that. You understand? So right from the word go, and I think this is not, this is not rocket science. It's not. It shouldn't be difficult for anybody, any discerning Ghanaian, reasonable Ghanaian, to just see through this particular policy for what it really is. And I've said this, on numerous occasions also, that this is a clear policy misalignment. I'm talking of the 24-hour markets. Clear policy misalignment. You have a monumental and a landmark infrastructural, policy, like the Agenda 111, which is, very ambitious and very bold. that you could have actually, I mean, as a government that is, has its priorities right, would have centered the attention and focus to improve upon the and complete a large number of the Agenda 111
Then you
hospitals.
leave me to ask the question: why didn't you make it a priority and a focus? You should have at least completed, at least in all the regions, something so that you can.
Oh, but
point out to.
it's evident that a number of them
How
were
many?
completed, but not operational before we left.
So-
and one
so-
thing that is very sacrosanct and very, very important for you to understand as far as the Agenda 111, I don't want to, I'm usually the type of
Right.
communicator that do not want to engage in peripheral arguments, leaving the substantive issues. But the Agenda 111 hospital, I hope you are clearly aware that it was not a campaign message and a campaign promise. It was never. And that is not to say that the government shouldn't have even, embarked on it. That is not what I'm trying to say. It was very, very important. You see, during the COVID came to expose the deficit in our infrastructure, health infrastructure. You understand? And that was what actually brought about this Agenda 111. So initially, it was not a campaign promise, but the visionary, former president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, thought it very worthwhile to invest in such a project. So you are all in this country, and we saw what happened. A large number of them were able to, proceed to greater levels of completion. You understand? So the scale is very important. Agenda 111 is one of, I think, is the biggest and the largest health infrastructure policy or project that has ever been, undertaken by any government as far as, our political history is concerned. It is, and that is, I think there is no dispute about that.
Right.
So looking at the scale, it was going to be very difficult for the government to, do all, and provided, looking at the fact also that it was not initially a campaign promise, because a government goes or signs a social contract with the people. And what is the social contract? The social contract is when you are going on your campaign train and your campaign messages. What do you tell the people? When I come, I'll do this, looking at the resources that I'll be able to generate it. So if something comes impromptu on the way, and the government think that, even though this wasn't part of my campaign message, but it wasn't part of my manifesto, but it is still important. The people and the government, thinks it's very worthwhile to invest in. I think even if it is only one of them that is completed, or even if any effort, any scintilla of effort that is made towards that should rather come with commendations, the people should applaud it instead of trying to weigh down or trying to undermine that particular effort. I hope you agree with me on that, Mr. Gerard.
The general public will agree with you on that. Yes. So, if you want to join the conversation, you can call through the phone lines. But before I answer any call, let me find out from John if there is any thing to rebut before we open up our phone lines.
Thank you very much, Gerald. Yes. So I think that it is important to state that the 24-hour economy markets are, projects that will lift up the local economy. And I expected my brother to, commend the government. You see, at the very beginning, we will encounter challenges. He eventually waded off from the 24-hour economy markets to talking about Agenda 111 and what have you. Look, you always wanted to divert attention. The fact of the matter is that the 24-hour economy markets have been, they have been well received by the good people of Ghana. All right. It's not about wanting to poo-poo the project. Look, you talk about 24-hour economy, and that we said we're going to have 3 shifts. Okay, 1 job, 3 shifts for 3 people. Today, Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, they have begun that process. Right. So certainly, once you have an industry or you have an organization operating 24 hours round the clock, certainly you will need more hands. That will lead to job creation. You can talk about DVLA, all right? Some other regions have started. So it is a process. Everything cannot happen at once.
Right.
It is not an event. And that is why, in your own efforts, talking about Agenda 111, you said all you could say, promising, giving us deadlines. What were you able to do? You couldn't even commission one of the Agenda 111, despite all the vaulting ambitions ruled out by the former president. So yes, I am very optimistic. I'm very, very confident that the coming into force of the 24-hour economy markets will boost the local economy. Farmers are going to benefit from the 24-hour economy markets, and the rippling effects of the 24-hour economy markets cannot be downplayed.
Right. Let's go to the phone lines and just answer. You come in later. Hello. Good morning. Your name and where you're reaching me from, please.
Gerard.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm going outside.
I'm doing well.
This is Master Hudu.
Master Hudu, please join the conversation.
Let me say good morning to John Paul, as well my junior brother, Yusuf in your studio, and your listeners across the region and beyond. You see, the issue of NDC and their Machiavellian will just to divert the issue we are discussing this morning. I know that the minority leader, Afenyo Martin, didn't just wake up and be asleep to just speaking about the loss of 1.7 billion, which is equivalent to 22 billion Ghana cedi, a budget for the whole Ministry of Health. That is why we are talking about in this matter. You see, just didn't wake up. This is an international institution which we call IMF report. Before I even go there, you see, IMF didn't just started in 2026. It was started in 1944. And Ghana, we went our first entry of IMF in 17th May 1966. And we have a governor of NDC in 1999. They sent Ghana into IMF with a wrong figures and IMF practices. And we have a governor of NDC in 1999. They sent Ghana into IMF with a wrong figures and IMF have to fund Ghana for us to pay $39 million US in 2001. And this is the government that we are talking of today. You see, that's why in 2025, Bank of Ghana donated a written 133 billion Ghana cedi to go out there and purchase gold for the good people of this country. At the end of the day, do you know the amount of the money that they are able to purchase for the gold reserve? They purchased 128 billion Ghana cedi, leaving a gap of 5 billion up to the foreign agency and this office never ever explained the reason why that 5 billion is not been able to be accounted to. And these are some of the things which is accumulated to what we have been seeing today at 1.7 billion, which is really lost in the gold that we are talking. And what is the my friend in the studio saying that there is no way that gold board is being mentioned. Go and find out if you read you can see they are having lessons of reading. They should go out there and read the IMF report. And you see where they have mentioned there are some payments that Bank of Ghana was being paid to the gold, which is which IMF is saying that look, this is the reason why we are getting the 1.7 billion losses. What is the reason that today the Bank of Ghana from now they go to Parliament and say they are not going to finance the gold bought again? What was their reason? You know, since day one, when the 114 million Ghana cedi pop up and we are talking, they deny it. And the IMF country director come up with this statement before the Bank of Ghana accepted there was a lawsuit at that time. Nonetheless, today you are accusing that somebody is saying that some agency is saying that IMF is not being truthful. So some agency and the IMF, who are we supposed to put our interest in? You see, all the issue about saying that what is the Afenyo Martin is extortion from it is very, very laughable and very insulting. All of us, we know Afenyo Martin is a business mogul and how much Afenyo Martin is going to extort from you, Sami Jeffy, and your is called NDC. To get what? This is very insulting and I think that they cannot denigrate Afenyo Martin into the station. And I'm hoping that at the end of the day, Jana, the way we are saying, because today, we have an office of the chief justice, which is now in the office of the judicial. That is why we don't have any independent judiciary in this country. Let me just land here and say, as for the 24-hour market, it is a scam, and that was not what they promised the good people. It was about jobs, 133C, and your mama was running across the region with a big clock on his car, saying that when he get opportunity to come to power, we have teeming youth of this country who was not be able to employ. So when they come every 8 hours, there will be a shift. And today, I will be seeing it. John, stop misleading. There is no way where 24-hour economy is working in this, it is a palpable lie. Lord Divine is working in 24-hour economy in this country. Good morning to your listeners.
Good morning, Masaudu. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You can also call by joining. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? All right. So you can also join the conversation by calling into the studio lines. We'll give you the opportunity to speak. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Landlord.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
You can join the conversation.
First of all, let me say good morning to your cherished listeners, as well as the regional minister in Upper East, Akamokori, and the DCs in the region who are doing their best to see how they can bring development to our various districts. First of all, we encourage them to do more. We are seeing government have allocated almost 18 different road projects to the districts in Upper East. And we are encouraging the DCs to enforce that, to make sure that these rules are able to execute it, that will benefit the people of Upper East. You see, sometimes my brother for the NPP like to contradict themselves. And I ask myself, you had 8 solid years. My brother, in one way, say that, oh, I know 111 was priority to the government. And another breath, we say that, oh, it's only in their campaign manifesto. That's why they couldn't complete those projects. Even though that project started 2019, almost 5 years solid.
Did it start in 2019?
Government couldn't complete even one.
No, the project didn't start in 2019. I think it started after the elections.
When?
Yes.
You remember they said that it also, do you remember that project?
That, yes.
They said that they want to build it also, to remember.
Was that how it started?
They said yes, 88.
Okay.
Then 2 years down the line, there was nothing to show. They jumped into 111. And they had 4 solid years. They couldn't complete even one in Upper East. One. They couldn't complete two. They are saying that, today, Mama building 24-hour market is not priority for the people of Upper East. You remember they told us again, one district, one factory. The entire 8 solid years, not even one in Upper East, not even one in Upper West, not even one in Savannah, not even one in Northeast region. The entire 8 years, one district, one factory, nothing. They told us again, you remember, one consideration $1 million. The whole northern Ghana, not even one peso of dollar was given to the one person in northern Ghana. Not even one peso. The entire 8 solid years. Again, they told us again, one village, one dam. Remember that policy again? Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
One village, one dam.
Yeah.
My brother is coming from Bongo, Ayopia. He came and cast off for that project. Not even one dam was being done in northern Ghana. And this guy had a gust just because of politics as usual. Mama came and said that the power economy and not giving out market. If Mama even couldn't do that project, by we getting market alone, it's better than you telling us what this was factory, and we have gotten nothing in a time northern Ghana. My brother, if you say that, Mama said that 24-hour economy. Today we have been told that if you go to Harbour, that is to work less than 8 hours. If you go to Harbour, in those who are in capital, you can testify today that 24-hour economy is a process, not an event to. Never said, if you say that 24-hour economy, everybody now should start to work at 24-hour economy. When we had their so-called, what's the name? They told us that they want to come and implement. I remember before the notice election, then John Bowley said that before MPP will come to power, they will import people from outside come and work in Ghana. And remember, before MPP came to power, unemployment was 7% 2017. Unemployment was 7%. Before they left power, it jumped to 14%. Meaning every year we have 1% of unemployment rate in this country. Today, as we stand today, unemployment have dropped from 14 to 12.something%. If you can check for me, if you can do that check-up for me. So the entire 8 years of MPP, the so-called NABCO and blah blah and school and co, unemployment jumped from 7% to 14%. So if this guy now sitting in the studio there, just less than 2 years ago, saying that, oh, Mahama has come, he couldn't fulfill. Again, remember, before he left power, the economy was being ranked as a junk status. And when it was being ranked as a job by Boni and the coal. Today, you can't say that economy is on junk status. With regard to the issue of a gold bond, you see, I've been saying that the MPP are envious of this country and jealous. During your term, the so-called PMC lost 400 million Ghana cedi to the state. And the state benefits nothing from it too. The state benefits nothing. If you remember that time, the dollar was buying almost 17 cedi. We were buying for almost 18, 19. Ghana economy was being like as a junk status. Today, with the issue about the gold board have able to give this country almost 10 billion. My brother, they don't talk about that benefit. They only talk about, oh, we have lost of 1.7 billion. But they have given us $10 billion. When you have the so-called PMC and then we lost 400 million Ghana cedi, what they give to the economy of this country? What the PMC then, when it lost $400 million to, what benefit did they bring for this country? We can answer this question, but the general, we have lost 1.7 million. Even if we have lost, it has brought up almost $10 billion to this to get the economy.
Right.
So it's not about the MPP who are having that hatred.
Just wrap up for me, landlord.
Yes, our land. That hatred and just there, oh, because you're not coming from us, oh, the process is not good. Everybody is nice that we should protect the gold board. Even Kofi Benton, who's your friend, he said that policy is good policy. But what about hatred and politics? They are saying that, oh, we have lost 1.7 million. But we don't talk about what the gold board have brought to the seat. But so what I would say is that you have lost 400 million. And our economy was being ranked as a junk status. And the dollar was being ranked as 17 cedi. And fuel was being going up abysmally. Today, we have seen gold board. The economy is now being stable. And people are now feeling the impact of the economy. So just agree that gold board, we need to improve.
Right.
But don't come with that kind of hatred and jealousy that, oh,
right.
It has been called cases for us. Please.
Thank you.
The MPP should have a way of trying to deal with the issue.
Thank you very
because
much.
Their credibility is lacking. Because you have 8 solid years, you fail woefully.
Thank you very much, landlord. Your point has been made. We just want to take our final thoughts from our guest here in studio, and we'll call it a morning here. Let me begin with you, Joseph. Then I'll come to John to take the last bite.
The time is going to be a little bit excessive.
Just 2 minutes. That is all you have.
A lot of
just 2 minutes.
You have even started to rebut before.
You have even started part of your 2 minutes.
When my big brother was summing up, I mean, he made mention of the fact that Akufo-Addo government couldn't, did not even commission a single Agenda 11 hospital before we left, and I think that is factually incorrect. And that is, I mean, categorically false. Before the NPP will leave power, we commissioned 3 of the Agenda 11 hospitals. One, Trede, Achuma Kwanwuma Hospital, and another one to Kokobin, that's Oforikro Municipal Hospital, and a Hunter West Municipal Hospital, which is at Bokru. So it is not a fact that we didn't commission any of the Agenda 11 hospitals. Now, in summary, it is a fact that, I mean, which is not in dispute, that this government or BOG has lost in excess of 22 billion Ghana cedis. That is not in dispute. And it is also a fact that, which I've been able to substantiate, that Gold Board is partly responsible for that losses. And for that matter, I mean, they cannot be absolved of responsibility. The fact that the losses are seated on the books of BOG, I mean, does not mean that Gold Board didn't architected or played any role in that losses. And that fact or that point is also made very well, loud and clear. And you see, I've also said a lot about the NPP during our tenure. The losses in 3 years combined was 7 billion Ghana cedis, and they have done 22 billion Ghana cedis in a single year. And when it comes to the benefits, if you look at from 2022, we're having only 2 weeks of import cover. By 2024, we're having 4 months of import cover, and that was as a result of the dollars that was able to generated as a result of the domestic gold purchasing program. And quite apart from that, in terms of the forex for oil too, we're able to reduce the export prices of fuel from somewhere, November 2022, when it was around 23 Ghana cedis per liter. And when we were leaving office and they took over, export prices were around 14 Ghana cedis, and that is a fact. And all of these are the benefits of the domestic gold purchasing program under the NPP government.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Let me take the last comment.
Yeah,
from John.
thank you very much, Gerald. So my brother says he wanted to clear the air by still taking me back to the agenda 111. I want to make it clear here and now that how do you commission a hospital that is not operationalized? And that is what happened. How can you do that just for political, agenda? Yeah, I mean, we cannot do that. It is a fact that, yes, you were in a rush to commission those hospitals just to score political points, yet those hospitals you claim you commissioned were not operationalized. There's a lot that should go into a hospital to make it operational. So if you just put up the physical infrastructure and you go and commission such a project only to tell Ghanaians that you have commissioned a hospital that is not operationalized, we will not forgive you. And that is why Ghanaians kicked against you. Yes, so 24-hour economy markets is a good policy. The listening public, let us all rally behind government. Let us realize that development is a process and never an event. Now, on the gold board issue, yes, as I indicated earlier, this is a developing story, and we are very much interested in the outcome of the issue that has finally gotten to the corridors of the OSP, the Attorney General, and all the other anti-corruption fighting bodies. I trust and believe that this matter will come to rest finally, so that Ghana can continue to enjoy from all the great interventions, from all the beautiful interventions that this government is putting out.
Right.
I trust that today our economic indicator stands at B+, as rated by the international rating agencies.
Right.
That is a great achievement by this government.
Right.
But for the Israel disturbances, I'm sure at a point we're buying fuel at 10 cedis per liter. I mean, this is something.
Let's not raise another room for argument.
Thank you
because once you bring in that, then the question is, why then didn't you agree with the NPP when they said then that the conflict in Russia and Ukraine has a ripple effect on it?
As we speak, the Russian
So thank you very much.
The
Thank you very much, John Paul Azuma, member of the NDC Regional Communication Bureau. Thank you, Abonenga Joseph Aguyeri. Thank you. Yeah, he's a member of the NPP's communication team, for passing through. This is Daybreak Upper East. And before we take leave of you, Techno introduces Come On Slim, the latest addition to its Come On family. True to its name, it boasts a slick 6.39 golden hand feel with a double curved front and back for a comfortable grip. A standout feature is the moonlight around the rear camera, which adapts lightning effects to notifications, charging calls, and voice chats, giving the phone a more personalized, expressive touch. Well, Techno introduces Come On Slim, the latest addition to its Come On family. True to its name, it boasts a slick 6.39 mm golden hand feel with a double curved front and back for a comfortable grip. A standout feature is the moonlight around the rear camera, which adapts lightning effects to notifications, charging, calls, and voice chats, giving the phone a personalized, expressive touch. Powered by Techno AI, it offers smart features including AI football, AI image to video generator, AI noise cancellation, AI assistant, AI art gallery, AI health and diet, and AI post generation. For photography, Flash Snap 2.0 and a Sony powered night camera ensures fast, clear shots even in low light. It's equipped with a 5600 mAh dual battery, and 60-watt fast charging, plus IP68 and IP69 ratings for top-tier dust and water resistance. Available now in vibrant colors at all Techno stores nationwide. Techno Common Slim, hold 10, mode on. This is how we end this morning's program here on A1 Radio 101.1 megahertz. This is Daybreak Upper East. I am Gerard Asagi. I've been your host. Content was put together by Moses Abapia with visual support from Joseph Yaro. Technical support from Emmanuel Abwaje and Kofi Metepe. Up next is Work and Happiness with Bra Kalala. Do enjoy the rest of the morning.